Hello and welcome. 5 A Day with Jay. I'm your host, J.R. Murdock. Yes, I know, it's Saturday. I only do 5 A Day with Jay Monday through Friday. We missed yesterday. We're doing one today. I'm testing something out. For some reason, streaming hasn't been actually streaming. I don't know why. So I'm trying something different. That's what we're doing around here. We tried different things. At any rate, what I've done this time is I have the stream going. So I have my OBS software up on one side of the screen. I have YouTube up on the other side of the screen. That way I can see what's going on. And I do see that there's kind of a delay. So we're just going to sit here and chit chat for a while. As it says in the title, this is a test. This is only a test where there's a real episode of 5 A Day with Jay. Who knows? I might be doing something completely different. But again, experimenting, trying new things. That's what this is all about. That's what I'm learning. If you notice, the microphone looks larger than normal. I went back to my condenser mic instead of my directional mic. Trying different things. I was using this before. I've got a piece of foam here that I'm probably going to be wrapping around the microphone to alleviate echo. Right now it's not on there. It's in my hand. That's why it's not on the microphone. At any rate, I want to make sure I can, as like I said, eliminate echo. I'm sitting in front of a window, sitting in front of a flat screen, well, curved screen, but regardless, it would reflect the sound back to the microphone. So this little piece of acoustic can probably eliminate some of that echo. That's what we're going for here. So hey, I'm here, I'm online. I just wanted to talk about what's going on. I need to pester my co-author, Mike Plested, and say, hey, Mike, what you doing? Chapters, words. I'm going to sit down and do some words right now for a little while. I'm also going to work on getting a couple of print books ready to go. I don't have all of them ready. We're going to work on that. We're going to try and get everything set up and ready to go. I've got a few of the print books done that are coming up. I need to work on getting the print books going for ones that are already done. I need to clean up. I did all my massive editing, clean up the contents of the book. I need to make sure those get back out there. It'll take time. These things take time. Not a whole lot else going on. The reason I'm starting the video now instead of earlier this morning or from later is this morning we got up. We got to babysit the kids last night. By the kids, I mean my favorite daughter and the boys' two dogs, Coda and Maya. So we had Coda and Maya last night. They were here, great puppies. We got up this morning. Mrs. went and did her workout. I did my workout on the bike. Took the dogs to Dog Beach down on Fiesta Island. We met my favorite nephew, Emilio, and his friend, Matthew, my sister-in-law, Gloria, and my favorite daughter and the boy. We went down there and spent the day on the beach and walked the dogs back and forth, throwing balls. So many people throwing balls for their dogs, large balls, small balls, tennis balls, plastic balls, you name it, all kinds of different flight around. Dogs were getting confused, picking up the wrong balls. There weren't any fights ensuing, but it was just hilarious watching one dog pick up the wrong ball, another dog, much smaller, in this case, Emilio Matthews' dog, small, tiny little dog, trying to fight this large husky because the husky picked up the wrong ball. And Gia, the small dog, knew which ball was her ball, and she was not happy that her ball had gotten taken away from her. So, and she started to chase that dog away. It was hilarious. It was entertaining. It's a really neat area down there on Fiesta Island because it's somewhat isolated from everything else. You can see across the bay. You can see SeaWorld over on the side, but it's a nice little strip inside. It's flat water, so there's no huge waves. Unless a boat or jet ski goes blasting by, then you'll see some waves out there. But the dogs, the water is fairly shallow, going out probably 20, 30 feet from where the actual water comes onto the beach. So the dogs running into the water, running back out, having a great time. Big dogs, small dogs, dogs of all varying sizes and breeds. And all of them, for some reason at that beach, all the dogs are always on their best behavior. I don't get it. If I were to take any of the 5 dogs we had with us, 5 dogs? Yeah, 5 dogs. We had TJ, Pebbles, Gia, Maya, and Coda. Yeah, 5 dogs. You take any of those 5 dogs anywhere else, it's going to be different, because like if I were walking them up down the street, they're gonna like want to go after another dog. On the beach, you take them off the leash and they just run and have a good time. It's like, hey, this is the playground, it's playtime. Everyone's on their best behavior, and the dogs just go for it, and they're up and down. It's interesting. Back to the writing front. So today I am going to work on getting words down in Giant Robot Planetary Competition Book 3. I've been off from it for quite some time. Oh, by the way, after we went to Dog Beach, we went to have lunch, so I might be a little sleepy. My apologies. We went to a restaurant called the Lazy Dog, which allows you to bring your dogs to the restaurant with you. Obviously outside seating, not indoor seating. So we sat outside with 3 of the 5 dogs. A couple of us couldn't make it. Had a great lunch. And off we went. At any rate, GRPC 3, where I left off in that book, I had introduced Phil Smith. Phil Smith is a Gelparthi. A Gelparthi is a very gigantic being with tiny, tiny little beady black eyes, but giant teeth that kind of go everywhere, all different directions. Gigantic creature. Phil Smith, if you've listened to any of my audiobooks, is the same Phil Smith from Billy Barbarian. Billy Barbarian, Bill Smith was the one out-of-place character in the entire book. Big brown scales that puff up when the creature gets angry. I had a great time creating that character for Billy Barbarian. When I started doing the GRPC books, I leveraged that character, and when I leveraged that character, not the character but the being, in the GRPC books, it was interesting. It was like, hey, yeah, this kind of fits. I honestly, at the time, had no intention of bringing Phil Smith into the series. Again, if you've listened or read the Billy Barbarian book, you know that at the end of the book, spoiler alert, Phil Smith leaves the planet. He takes off on his ship and heads back into space. I couldn't just let his story end there, now could I? No, I couldn't. So it really seemed fitting to bring him in at this time in the series. Now, if you're following all the books that I'm working on, at this point we'll have V&A Shipping 1 and 2, GRPC 1 and 2, and I'll have Almost Superheroes 1 and 2. And GRPC 3 will be the book I'm working on, although I'll be releasing V&A Shipping 3. So about halfway through the series, a 16-book series, so the 9th book will have the book with Phil Smith in it. And it fit. His character fit for what's happening in the story, what's happening with the characters across all the series. This was the time for Phil to show up. It just worked. He fit everything I needed him to be. I was trying to figure out, I needed a character that could assist Sully with the events that happened at the end of GRPC 2. And when I work on these books, they cover a specific time frame. There may be a portion of time between books where I don't cover what happens, because it may or may not be that interesting to the reader. Between book 1 and book 2, there's time that passes. Between book 2 and book 3, there's time that passes. I don't cover every little detail. I could, but to me, it's not the most interesting part of the story. Therefore, I don't utilize that part of the story. I leave that part out. I come back and reference what happened during that time. And in this case, between book 2 and book 3, a whole lot happens that puts everything into turmoil. And Elise needs help. She needs very specific help. Phil Smith from the Billy Barbarian series has very specific talents. He's been out of the business for a while, so he doesn't have the ability to just come in and do the job. He essentially, like anybody else, needed to apply for the job and got the job. And he's on his way to go help. Terrific. I honestly didn't know I was going to be leveraging his character until I started leveraging his character. And it works. It works. He ends up picking up a hitchhiker in the middle of space. These events happen at a specific time in a specific book. And whoop, hey, look, there's a random character here. So VNA Shipping 3 will have to be read before GRPC 3 for certain events to make sense. This is the point where I would love to just talk about the plot of the entire series and everything that's happening and everything that's going on. But I'm not going to, because those books have not come out yet. I will, in the future, when those books do come out, talk about my thinking of why did I plan to have certain characters interact with other characters from a different story in a specific way. Why did I start weaving all this together? Again, my entire intent when I began the VNA Shipping series of books was to have them to be completely isolated stories, not a big, long, protracted series. That was just my intent. Yes, VNA Shipping was going to be VNA Shipping, and there would have been VNA Shipping 1, VNA Shipping 2. Before I ever wrote VNA Shipping 3, before I even wrote VNA Shipping 2, I wrote GRPC 1. And I thought, oh, hey, it'll be kind of neat to have a cameo with the VNA Shipping crew in here. And it worked, it fit. Then when I wrote VNA Shipping 2, it was like, hey, I can leverage a piece of GRPC, the Giant Robot series in here. Doesn't have to be as overt as it was in the first book, but it worked. It worked for that story, for Hollow. And at that point, that's when I decided, hey, this could be a whole lot bigger than what I've been thinking about all along. Almost Superheroes was another series I wanted to do, but was completely unrelated at the time to the VNA Shipping series. And it wasn't until I began actually writing the first Almost Superheroes book, a little light bulb went off in the back of my head. And then I wrote the second book, and that light bulb just got bigger. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, all of this ties together. I went and added some scenes and a chapter into the back of Almost Superheroes Book 1 that tied VNA Shipping to Almost Superheroes. I can't wait to get these books out and talk about them with whoever wants to listen. Again, we're talking a ways down the road. Almost Superheroes Book 1, let's see, for June, we've got the paperback version of VNA Shipping. No, my brain. So many books. We just released GRPC 2. Wow, yeah. And the print book will come out for GRPC 2. Then we're going to do Almost Superheroes Book 1. So that means print in June, Almost Superheroes Book 1 in July. Then the print version in August, then Almost Superheroes 2 in September. That's when the picture will start to become a little more clear as to where all of this is going. And I need to do Almost Superheroes first because, as I said, one of the characters in Almost Superheroes appears in the VNA Shipping Book 3 series. And all of that will make a lot more sense if you read Almost Superheroes Books 1 and 2. At least Book 1. Book 1 will make VNA Shipping 3 make a heck of a lot more sense. And that's when some of these aha moments will start to appear. If you're reading all of the series, there's so many moments that will go, wait, how is this going to start tying together? But once the books start to come out and they all build on each other, that's when it's going to be a lot more fascinating to start talking about these books, and things are going to pick up speed. Again, we're working towards 4 books in each series, 4 VNA shipping, 4 Giant Robot, 4 Almost Superheroes, and then 4 of the Galactic Unrest series. Yeah, Galactic Unrest, I believe is what I called it. Galactic Unrest is going to be similar to the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the Avengers books, where everybody's there. And there's going to be another element on top of that. So all of your favorite characters across the series will be in there, and more. That's the goal of the Galactic Unrest. That's when, again, at that point I will have done 16 books in this entire series. That's where I want to see, okay, who's paying attention? Is this taking off? If it's taking off, I could very easily do a whole nother 16 books in this series. Simply because I know where this one's going to end is not going to be nice, neat, wrapped up with a bow, done. It's just not the way I write. I just don't. I never have. I don't like clean, yes, it's done, it's cut off. I enjoy reading books like that from time to time, but when it comes to my writing, I want the reader to feel a sense of satisfaction when they've completed a book, but then have things ruminating around in their head that they're thinking about afterwards. Whatever happened to this character? Why did this happen? What's going on? And the fun thing is, as I said, I have all these in-between pieces, and I have a lot of ancillary characters in all of these books. What are they doing in that in-between time? What are they doing when the main characters are getting everything set up? Where are the ancillary characters? What are they doing? I could easily go back and write short stories about what these characters are doing, and it would be fun to just drop in, what are some of the pit crew from Giant Robot Planetary Competition do? The Orbital crew. What's the Orbital crew out there doing? Or an Owl Thu. Fun characters. Ap the Hori. What are all these other characters doing? I could go out and write about these characters. There's also some practice that's going to be happening, and I'm talking about GRPC 3. Let's not talk about what's happening in GRPC 3. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. That book is probably a year down the road. At any rate, I'm having so much fun writing again, and publishing, and producing. This wasn't intended to be a full cast. This is just a test. I don't even know if this is streaming. YouTube says it is. The past couple of times I've been streaming, nothing has happened. I don't know. So if you're out there and you're watching, thank you so much. I am going to go get to that writing that I was talking about. We will resume normal scheduling beginning on Monday. I want to say thank you for joining me. I have been Jay. You have been awesome. Until next time.